Yeah, another thing that I think startups and enterprise clients really differ on is the learning curve. And this is yet another reason that you should be um, asking an enterprise for significantly more money, even though the deliverable looks like it's going to be the same. So with a startup, you're typically dealing with one product. It's usually still fairly simple in the grand scheme of things because they're newer and they just haven't had enough time to build a huge project or a huge product, and they're usually focused on like one, two, maybe three kind of like ideal client profiles. And so you don't need to get to know a
Yeah.
whole lot. Whereas like an enterprise client, they might have a whole suite of products, each of which
Hmm.
are more complex than any startup's only product. And then, each of those products can be used in different ways together to like solve different use cases. And, you're speaking to a whole bunch of different ideal client profiles depending on the
Yep.
use case and the product mix. And it's insane to be honest. Like, um,
I know.
the way I honestly see it is unless like you're going to have a long-term engagement like Invicti has with you, um, I think if you're an enterprise and you're bringing in like a freelancer or a consultant, you should see them almost as like a sniper. Like, don't ask them to get their heads around your entire organization, all your products and ideal client profiles. It should be like a very well-defined problem. Like, we're spending $100,000 a month on PPC ads, which direct to this page. This page is selling this product to this ideal client profile. Like, do what you got to do to help us get this page performing better. Like, that's reasonable. I can disregard so much of the other stuff that's going on in the org, and it starts to feel like a startup project within an enterprise. But as soon as you start getting really big, like what you've dealt with, it's got to be long term. They need to be willing to invest a lot of time in you getting up to speed on things, and otherwise, they should be looking at like a large agency at that point.
Yeah, that's all really good stuff.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I think the last thing is also to sort of, or not to put a cap on this, but again, it's like it varies. It varies so much. Like there are things I've dealt with like enterprise type problems at startups. I've dealt with
Mm-hmm.
startup type problems with large companies. Um, so it's not always, what you think it would be. And it's not until you've worked with a handful of companies from each that you sort of start to see like, okay, yeah, sure, there are tendencies, and whatever it is, but like startups and enterprises will both have like that person who comes in who's like, you're like, okay, I presented the whole thing and here's how this is supposed to get more people to click through and sign up for a demo or free trial or whatever. And then they're like, now I'm not sure if we want to use like an Oxford comma here. And you're like, okay, like I don't know if any A/B tests where an Oxford comma, made the difference here. Like, are these the right messages in the right order for this audience to get them to click? So, you know, whatever company you're working with, there's always going to be, an element of uncertainty in terms of, what that review process is going to be like. So,
Yeah,
and the whole
definitely.
process.
For sure.